Good morning, students. Today we will discuss emails, how to write an email. Before discussing emails, I would first like to tell you something about communication. There are various tools, various means of communication that we use to deliver our message or to exchange information. There are two types of communication. Verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Now, what is verbal communication and non-verbal communication? Verbal communication includes words, message that is delivered using words, symbols. While non-verbal communication does not use words and it is generated and it is conveyed using expressions, gestures, postures, eye contact, etc. So these are part of your personality that indirectly expresses what you want to deliver. While in verbal communication, we always choose words which can communicate what we want to communicate. Out of this verbal communication, there are two types of verbal communication. One is written communication and the other one is oral communication. In written communication, we write something and then we deliver our message, while in oral communication, we do not write anything and convey our message orally while speaking. In written communication, you must all know there are various means of communication, of written communication, such as letters and emails, drafts, notices, advertisements. All these are various means of written communication. So today's topic of this lecture is email. How and why we write an email. Before discussing how we should write an email, I would first like to tell you about what an email is. The full form of email is electronic mail, where the message is conveyed using electronic gadgets, electronic devices. In email, the most important characteristic of an email is that it helps in developing, it helps in constructing long distance relationships. How? Because while sending an email, the distance is no bar. The distance does not confine, does not limit what you want to deliver. So this is what an email is for. It is used when you want your message to be delivered fast, quickly. When the person you want to send a message or send an email to is not available for a telephonic conversation or for a face-to-face interaction, in such cases, what you can do is you can just send an email to him or her, so that whenever it is comfortable for the person, he may or she may visit the email inbox. After discussing the various types of communication, now let's move to what are the advantages of an email. The advantages of writing an email are numerous. Out of them, I have written a few. Number one is, compared to the traditional way, that was letters, posts. Earlier we used to convey our information, our messages via letters and posts. Emails are delivered extremely fast. So it saves time. When the information is time sensitive, we may now prefer emails instead of sending letters and wait for a few days. Number two advantage of writing an email is it can be sent anytime. Nowadays, if you see, people work day and night. So emails are in that cases always preferred, because emails can be sent anytime, 24/7, 365 days a year. There is no problem of time. The third advantage is it is a cheap mode of communication. It costs nothing. It just costs an internet connection and an electronic gadget, which usually nowadays people already have, and everyone in his or her smartphone has a Gmail inbox or Yahoo inbox or whichever email service they use. So it is a cheap mode of communication, it costs nothing. Other advantage to write again and again for everyone, you can just send a simple message to one person as well as to multiple people at a time. Another advantage of an email is it is paperless, it saves paper. Next one is it keeps a written record. How it keeps a written record? People can star the messages star the emails which are important for them, which they want to look at after some days, after few hours. So they can start their important emails and they can visit the emails time and again whenever it is convenient for them. So it maintains a record of communication. Another advantage is it sends electronic files and attachments. When there is a valuable information in the form of a Word file or in the form of a PDF file, it is always preferred that you forward an email along with the attachment. So these are the various advantages of emails, which is why nowadays in all the business organizations, or I would say in all the organizations, even in the institutions, people prefer emails instead of letters because letters reach quite late. So in the urgent cases, whenever it is preferred, it is always preferred in the urgent cases when the information you are sending is time sensitive, you need a quick reply, and it is always advisable that if you want a quick reply to your email and it is urgent, you must always drop a message to the recipient on his mobile phone, on his WhatsApp or on his phone, so that he may know that you have sent an email and you are expecting a fast reply. After discussing the various advantages of email, now let's move forward to how to write or how to draft an email. So the draft of an email has these three components. Number one is the subject line. Always pay attention to the subject you are writing because your subject line decides whether the recipient will read the message or he will just ignore the message. Nowadays people receive lots and lots of messages, out of which many of the messages are just spam messages, spam emails. So in that cases, always prefer a short, sweet, to the point subject which indicates what the whole email is all about. So always choose your subject line carefully. Next comes is your body and content. The whole body of the email. In the whole body of the email, how do we start an email? We start it with a salutation, with a greeting to the recipient or the recipients. How do we write a salutation in emails particularly? We usually prefer dear, and if you do not know the identity of the recipient, you can just write sir or madam. And just in case you know the person personally or you know his name, always try to write Mr. Miss before his name or her name, and try to write the surname of the person. For example, the person next to you is Mr. Mary Jones, or I would say Mrs. Mary Jones. So you can just write Dear Mrs. Jones. This is how you write a salutation in an email. After the salutation, you write the whole content, what the email is all about, everything that you want to share, the information you want to deliver. That comes under the component of content or body. Now, how do we conclude an email? We conclude an email by signing off. Just as we write dear in salutation, for signing off, you can use warm regards or regards or yours truly or yours sincerely. You can use any of these for signing off an email. So after looking at the advantages and the draft, you must understand that it is not very difficult to write an email. What you have to do is you have to be concise, precise, and you have to write a short and sweet email, because people generally do not like to read long emails, complicated emails, and if you want to share something very confidential, emails should not be preferred for confidential information, because emails can be forwarded, emails can be shared with other people as well. So for confidential information, you must first of all, talk to the recipient whether he wants that message in an email or not. Before sending a confidential information, you must always make sure that the person you are sending the email is ready to receive it. No one is tampering with the information. So these are the advantages and the drafts and the do's and don'ts of an email. Now we will see what are the email etiquettes. Now what does the word etiquette mean? Etiquette means a conventional set of rules, what is preferred and what should be avoided. That set of rules also apply to writing an email. So I will now tell you what are the email etiquettes. So now we will see the email etiquettes. See, these email etiquettes are not compulsorily be followed, but these are just guidelines which can make your email much more effective and impressive. So this email etiquette is particularly for professional emails, business emails, where you are dealing with a person who may or may not know you. So it kind of creates an impression of the sender to the recipients. So while writing an email, what you must follow is always be humble and polite. Your tone should always be humble and polite. Never send an angry email. Always think twice or thrice before forwarding, before sending an email. Your tone should always be humble and polite, and never stop using, or I would say don't neglect using thank you and sorry in your emails. Always be concise and precise. As I told you earlier, emails should be short and to the point because people do not have time enough to read long, complicated emails. So they prefer short and sweet emails. So always be concise and precise. Avoid using abbreviations. Now, what are abbreviations? You might have seen people writing ASAP, TTYL, TIA. What are these? These are informal abbreviations which must be avoided in professional emails. What is ASAP? It is as soon as possible. So always write in full form. Do not use abbreviations. What is TTYL? It is talk to you later. TIA, thanks in advance. So you should always prefer to write in full forms rather than writing in abbreviations which are not acceptable in formal communication. Do not use emoticons. Do not use jargons. What are jargons? Jargons are technical words. The next person might not be from the same field. He may or may not understand what jargons you are using. So always try to make it simple. Do not use jargons frequently, and just in case you want to use it carefully. And do not use slangs in formal emails. Next, use a professional email address. There are some students who would just write cool and some name, king and some name. So these emails, such kind of email addresses create a very fuzzy reputation. So you should always try to choose, try to create a professional email address. Next, proofread, which is very important. Proofread your email for grammar and spelling errors. There are certain people who do not like messages with errors of spelling and grammar. So always proofread your email. You can take help of computer applications for this as well. Briefly introduce yourself. If you are writing to a person who is new to you and you are new to him or her, always try to introduce yourself in brief so that the person may know what and why are you writing. Use exclamation marks sparingly. Sparingly means na ke barabar. Little, which means you must always avoid if you can avoid. Otherwise, you should always use them cautiously and sparingly. Be careful with confidential information. As I told you earlier, emails can be forwarded, can be sent to multiple people. So you should always be careful with confidential information. Fonts, highlights, etc. should be used cautiously. There are certain people who prefer writing in all caps locks and they want to write everything in bold font. So do not do everything cautiously. Name the attachments accordingly. Now, if you are including a Word attachment or a document or a PDF attachment, name the attachment accordingly so that after viewing the email, and if the person wants to look at the attachment after a few hours, after a few days, it is easy for him or her to locate the document, locate the attachment if it is named accordingly. And do not forget to attach the attachment, because people usually in a hurry forget to attach the attachment and send the mail without it. So always take care of it, always check your email twice, thrice whether it is complete or incomplete, and then only after ensuring yourself you must forward or send an email. Always use a signature. As I told you, it comes under the draft that after writing the salutation, the body of the email, you must sign it off appropriately. You can write regards, warm regards, yours sincerely, yours truly, as per your choice. Subject line must communicate what exactly you want to say. It comes under etiquette as well, so that your email is read. When will it be read? When the subject line communicates something important. The person who is receiving the email, the recipient, knows that there is some information which is relevant for him, which needs his or her attention. Then only he will go through your email. So write your subject line accordingly, cautiously, and it should be simple and concise and precise. These are the email etiquettes. Now I have already mentioned what an email is, what are the advantages of an email, how to draft an email, and what are the email etiquettes that should be followed by drafting an email. Now I'll show you a sample draft of an email where you can learn from how to draft, how to write a professional or a formal email, and you may also take help from electronic resources as well, web resources as well, on how to draft an email. This is a sample draft of an email. First of all, I would like to read the subject line for you so that you may know what this email is all about. The subject line states, inquiry about industrial training opportunities. So it is quite clear that someone is writing and looking for an opportunity to do a training in the industry or in the company he or she is writing to. So in to, she or he has written the email address of the recipient. CC. What is CC? CC is carbon copy. Just in case you want to send an email to multiple people, what you can do is you can add all of them's email addresses in this CC. Now what is BCC? BCC is blind carbon copy. When you want to maintain the anonymity of the recipients. In blind carbon copy, people do not come to know to how many people this email has been sent or forwarded. So in blind carbon copy, the identity remains anonymous, while in carbon copy, it is visible to each and everyone to how many people and to whom the email has been sent. Next, now we are moving towards the draft of an email. The subject, as I said, is the crux of an email, and it should be concise, precise, and it should communicate what exactly you are writing about. So we have made it quite clear that this email is about an inquiry about industrial training opportunities. Now let's move towards the body, the content of the email. Dear Mr. Jose, this is the salutation, the greeting. Now from here starts the email. My name is Mary Jones and I am a second year student of diploma in computer science and engineering in Government Polytechnic College, Dausa. As I told you in email etiquettes, always try to introduce yourself briefly if you are writing for the very first time to the recipient. So now the recipient knows that this email is from a student who belongs to a government college and who is pursuing diploma in computer science and engineering. As per our curriculum, we are required to do an industrial training in a reputed company for 24 days during summer breaks, May or June. So now she is making it clear why she is writing this email. She is saying that as per their curriculum, they need to do an industrial training for 24 days in a reputed company, especially in summer breaks, which will be in May and June. The purpose of this training is to give students opportunity for hands-on training on latest technologies that are being used in leading companies and also real life exposure to organizational management. Now what she is doing, she is making it more clear to the recipient, to the person she is writing to, that not only she has to do this industrial training for 24 days, but also they need to learn the latest technologies that are being used in companies and also how an organization is run. What are the different management functions that are being performed in an organization. So they need to learn all these things during this training. So she has made everything quite clear why she is writing this email. Now paragraph change. I am interested in doing a training on PHP in your company due to its leading position in the IT industry, great organizational culture and spirit of innovation and professionalism. Now what she is trying to do, she is trying to convince the person, convince the recipient that why she is writing this email to this particular company only. There are multiple companies which are reputed in the IT industry and who can fulfill all these expectations of the training. But why she is choosing this company? Because she thinks the company has a leading position in IT industry, it has great organizational culture and it promotes spirit of innovation and professionalism. She has also made it clear that the topic of her training would be PHP. She would like to work on PHP. Please find enclosed my CV for your reference. Now she has made everything clear in this email, but she cannot tell everything about her in the email because we have to keep the email concise and precise. So she is saying that I would attach a document and that document will contain my CV for your reference so that you may come to know what other projects I have worked upon, what other companies I have undertaken my training with and what other achievements I have gained, what models I have made. So all these things are given in detail in her CV. So she is not mentioning all those details here because they are not very necessary. They are necessary to develop the interest of the company. For that purpose, she is attaching a CV. Thank you for your time and I look forward to hearing from you soon. This is another humble, polite way of saying that I am expecting a reply. It can be a denial or it can be an acceptance, but I am expecting a reply soon so that if you cancel this request of mine, I can pursue another company, etc. So this is another humble way of writing. And then comes your signing off, your signature. She is signing off the email with yours sincerely, her name Mary Jones and her contact number. The email address automatically goes when you forward an email, when you draft an email, when you send an email. So you need not write your email address here. You are a student, you have already mentioned here. So there is no other thing you can write here while signing off. So you should make it like this. It is quite clear, the message is clear, the content is clear, the purpose is clear, everything is clear, the language is formal, the tone is polite and humble, and it is in the proper format of which starts from a perfect subject line to the salutation, then the whole body, and last the signing off. And as I said, do not forget to include the attachment if you are writing there that you are sending an attachment. So if she is saying that I have enclosed my CV, do not forget to enclose your CV and also name the attachment accordingly, right? You may name your attachment saying CV of Mary Jones. So it is quite clear. When it is saved somewhere in the PC, somewhere in the laptop, it is easy to locate it with the name. So this is how you should write an email. You should follow this email etiquettes. You must know always why you are writing an email and why is it necessary for the recipients to go through your email.